Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chats. Marvellous Monday. Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are. If you think it's Get Rich Quick, you're in the wrong place. This is the wrong podcast. This is the wrong live for you. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Hope you're all awesome and well. Hello, good morning, folks. Hope you're well. Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats. Jason, yeah. On this bright, sunny morning. Anyway, bright and sunny in the Gold Coast and Queensland, where I am. I'll do the quick intros and the warm-ups while we're getting going. Jason Witten's my name. Most of you know that, though. If you don't, well, now you do. Fabulous to have you here. If you're a newbie to Wealth Coffee Chats, that's awesome. We do this each weekday at about 8:10. Touch base, have a conversation, keep ourselves on track as property investors to make sure we can, not get distracted, not lose the momentum or the focus when it comes to joining the dots when it comes to property investing. There is a few, let's call it, conflicting opinions out there, often from people who aren't property investors and have not made any wealth or good decisions around property investing. So my advice to you is find some people who are good, experienced property investors making wealth from property and listen to what they've got to say. That's what this is all about, folks. This morning, I've been property investing over 25 years, made $1 or $2. Invested in over 100 properties myself, helped my clients buy over 10,000 properties across Australia and New Zealand with our team. So, we've seen a thing or two when it comes to property investing. And each morning we get to share a little bit about that. Make sure we stay on track. Sort the fear from the facts, folks. Sort the fear from the facts. So that's Wealth Coffee Chats. And if you're new, I'd love to hear from you in the chat. Say a bit of a hello. Say a good morning. Say a yoo-hoo. Morning, Luke. Good to see you, mate. Great to have you on this morning. Brad is in the house as well. Thanks for joining. Great to have you here. What I thought we might talk about this morning is something pretty interesting, I reckon, going on out there in the world of wealth and property is the transfer of billions of dollars. Unless you've been living under a rock, folks, you might have seen the greatest wealth transfer in Australia's history bandied about. And it's an interesting one to sort of think about how this wealth transfer might affect us as property investors and what we might want to sort of keep an eye on when it comes to our wealth, our investments, what's going on. According to Core Data, RP Data, Core Data, and the Australian government and many others as well, there's a fair bit of dough, fair bit of cash, fair bit of wealth that is set to transform from the control, ownership, and bank accounts and properties and other bibs and bobs of the baby boomers, folks. And where's it go? Who's going to get a bit of that action? What assets, etc. Now, it's not only an Australian thing. This is 4.9 trillion in Australia. There's a bunch of other baby boomers around the world in the developed country as well. That's a developed country thing, certainly after the war, World War II. Morning, Justin. Good to see you, mate. There's Alison as well. Jeff. And Tim in the house. Hey, good morning. So we've got a lot of money floating around, folks. Where's it going to go? Well, the kids are going to get some, the grandkids and some others. Who might that be? But it's pretty interesting, right? A lot of debt be paid off, a lot of investing, and a lot of having fun, putting it out there in the world of enjoying life, all right? But what does that mean for us? This is an interesting research doc. You can download this one, which is quite cool. The Knight Frank research paper. Just recently had a good read of that one. And I thought it was very cool to see something interesting about the Knight Frank research paper, talking about the top 3 risks and the top 3 opportunities when it comes to this transfer of wealth and the next 5 to 10 years in it when it comes to the world of property. Now, Knight Frank is a big research house. They do a lot of commercial, industrial property. They run big commercial, industrial property investment funds. They do a lot of stuff, and it's pretty interesting. They've got worldwide offices, and the top 3 risks in the world at this moment in time, according to their research. Quite interesting. And I like understanding what's going on in different property cycles, different property markets, because that can, for us as property investors, residential property investors for the most part, but some of you have got commercial as well, it can help us understand what's going on. Now, number 1 risk is some election and policy changes. Now, folks, I've been saying this forever. Who is our number 1 menace? Who's the number 1 menace when it comes to your wealth, my wealth, money, when it comes to, creating wealth or eroding or destroying wealth? Put it in the chat for me, folks, because we've seen this. Now, and I say the word destroying because I say it on purpose because politicians, and I've just given it away, but you guys know the drill. They don't give a shit. They don't give a rat's ass. The politicians, they'll change their rules. It'll erode your wealth, your comfort. Some people have worked for decades, 40, 50 years, and they go, oh, we're going to change the pension. Oh, we're going to change the tax on super. Oh, we're going to change this. Oh, we're going to change that. They don't give a shit. They don't give a rat's ass, right? I think it's disgusting when it comes to that stuff. However, that's the game we're in, right? You or I can't change that by, for good. You can change it by voting differently. But the top 3 risks right now. Number 1, election issues, politicians. Well, go figure. Climate risk. Interesting. And in this paper as well, there's some really interesting feedback about older property, secondhand property, being a massive risk when it comes to environmental and compliance, when it comes to keeping the buildings up to code and spec, folks. So it's an interesting one. So these might be like massive commercial buildings, let's say in Sydney, and the building might be 40 years old, and then the government's going to pass a rule of law. All buildings have to be up to this code, right, which might be environmental. And those buildings devalue immediately. You're following along? Now, what can we learn from that when it comes to residential real estate? Folks, for me, for you, I think there'll be some pretty serious and significant changes in the policies. We're already seeing it with rental. I think there'll be some environmental / compliance / upgrading of older properties that might be cost. But anyway, and this is the one that's really interesting, right? The undersupply of luxury homes, right? So, Sam has talked about this for a long time, the flight to quality, and we're seeing it right now, folks, in Australia, and it looks like it's around the world as well. Flight to quality makes money. Flight to quality is where lots of wealth transfers to. Flight to quality is certainly where all of us understand our wealth, especially in our property investing, should be parked longer term. All right, so I like that. But here's the top 3 opportunities. Relaxation of regulations, that's a good one. So in different places around the world, some there's some tightening and there's some relaxing. Diversifying properties appeal, spreading risk, and a safe haven for capital. Safe haven for capital, folks. Around the world, there's 4 or 5 very, 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 very safe real estate markets. And folks, Australia is known for being one of the safest real estate markets in the world, the most stable real estate markets in the world. So we get a bit of this. All right. So anyway, what does that all mean? Well, it means that we should keep an eye on things. Some really interesting stats have come out of this, which I love. What are your main? So this is for the top 1% of wealthy people, right? What's the main motivators behind your clients' future home purchases? And it's interesting. A home for most of the wealthy is about an investment. Now, in Australia, how does our home, our principal place of residence, become an investment strategy? Folks, put that in the chat for me. How does your home, because you guys know that we talk about this, right? How does your home in Australia factor into an investment or a wealth creation process in the future when all of us know that, the debt on your home is not tax deductible, it costs you a lot of money. Yeah, equity, absolutely equity. So the creation of equity and ultimately, so you can get equity created in there, which you can be your own bank, right? That's what it goes. And then boom, Luca's on it. In the future, if you were to sell it, right size or downsize or upsize, whatever it is, the sale cost in Australia at this moment in time, your home is capital gains tax free, right? So you could have a $20 million home and sell it and pay no tax on the capital gain. Fabulous. I like that. So an interesting one. What comes second? Lots of education choices. Okay. People buying houses for education. So sending their kids to places for education. So that's a pretty interesting one, right? I like that. So as we think about it, and then the other one, for many of us folks is lifestyle, right? Lifestyle, buying a home or a second home for lifestyle, somewhere we want to live. So it's quite interesting, and we can take some of these ideas, some of this information as a bit of, market research. Are we on track with our investing portfolio? Are we on track with our thoughts and our processes when it comes to investing? And, this is an aggregation of the sort of the top wealthy, the 1% around the world. And it's like, yeah, we're setting good strategies, aggregated strategies that make sense. I like it, which is cool. So pretty awesome to check in on that. This is an interesting one. How many properties does your average client own? So, sort of home and 3. Yeah, so there you go. 3 flight to quality homes. Interesting. Yep. Yep, you're dead right, Tim. Always that flight to quality is there. That's for sure. Yep, I like it. This is an interesting one, right? In 2024, folks, 2024, 70 countries go to elections. 70 countries go to elections. So this is pretty interesting and has some of those things that, depending on where you are in the world, these changes affect the property market or different markets, right? So Canada, a 2-year foreign buyer ban. Foreign buy. So no foreign purchasers can buy in Canada for 2 years, and they're going to extend it to 2027. Interesting, right? So how does that affect the market, right? So what happens there? New York, there's some things there, and the non-domicile tax regime for overseas buyers, changing to inheritance tax rules. There we go. Look, in France, G for energy efficiency can no longer be let. Look at that. Hey, check it out. This is what I'm saying, right? Don't be under any illusion that in the future, older property is not going to be required by you, the owner, to be significantly upgraded. In France, from 2025, properties with the rated G. Now, I don't know what that exactly means for energy. So they're not efficient enough, right? Can no longer be let. And then rents for F and G rated properties can no longer be increased. There you go. So this stuff is, it's a bit happening around the world. It's good to notice these things and think, oh, what happened? What would happen if that happened to you? What would happen? Tell me right now, if you had a portfolio of older properties that weren't energy rated, what would happen? Let's say you had 5 or 6 or 8 properties that were low energy ratings, folks. And let's say you were caught up in, a strata scheme as well, which would make it worse. An older strata scheme property, what would happen? What would happen to your portfolio? It wouldn't be good. I can tell you that. It would not be good. So check it out. Lower taxes for non-residents. That's pretty interesting. This is an interesting one. Italy just changed its tax regime, folks. Yeah, you'd have to knock down and rebuild. Yep. So this is really interesting, right? So there's a bunch of, combining, conflicting, converging things happening. There you go. Italy just who wants to move to Italy? Anyone? Yeah. And then if you wanted to sell it off, Alison, if the upgrade was going to cost you 50, 80, 100 grand, you're going to dust dough, so it's interesting. So it's really, really interesting for the rental property land. Italy just said, all right, you can become an Italian citizen for 100 grand and you don't have to live here. And you can get access to their tax regime in Italy. Really interesting, folks, there you go. Chinese mainland, new housing policies, first-tier cities, including lower down payment for first time and second time, extending mortgages to 30 years. Australia, a fee for foreign buyers will be tripled. More taxes for foreigners who leave their properties vacant. There you go. New Zealand, have changed their rules as well. So what does it all mean? Well, folks, it just means we've got to keep an eye on these maniacs out there messing with our wealth because they change the rules whenever they feel like it. And that's why you've got to stay up to speed with this stuff as we go along. But anyway, this was interesting. How much we'll finish up for today, but how many square meters does $1 million, $1 million, $1 million US get you in markets? Check it out.
if you were buying in Monaco, you'd get 16 square meters. That's a cupboard, isn't it? Sydney, you're going to get 43, which is not too bad for $1 million. Phuket, Cape Town, Mumbai, you get some. The Gold Coast, look at that, 112, not too bad. Anyway, there you go. So, what's the takeaway really from today's chat conversation, folks? Is really that, for us, when we see this wealth transfer around the world, grotty politicians, a lot of that wealth transfers to others, and it ends up in safe places. Residential real estate, especially Australian real estate, is quite safe. The politicians want to do two things. They want to raise taxes because they're useless at running the country. They don't know how to do it properly. And they want to feather their own nest. And, they want to make sure that they get re-elected. So right now, they're trying to wrangle both at the same time with this flow of wealth. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. But really, at the end of the day, the takeaway is, folks, a lot of money flowing over this next 10 to 15 years. It will go towards good quality real estate, either for owner, occupier, or investment, or both. I wouldn't want to get caught in old properties into the future. There will be legislation passed into the future that will probably ruin a lot of people. The politicians won't give a shit about that. There'll be some environmental pressures on it. I'm not judging either way, whatever the environmental conversations are. That's not my conversation this morning, but I don't want you to get caught with your pants down in a literal terms when it comes to that maneuver. So anyway, good quality properties and good spots. Newer is better for your future. There you go. Anyway, that's it. Bit of a ramble this morning, but I thought that report was quite interesting. A few good takeaways to really think about and pontificate. Anyway, yeah, the Gold Coast is looking good, Alison. Happy days. All right, folks, that's it. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. Join us tomorrow for another one, which is Friday, and Fridays are Finance Fridays. You'll get the finance team and Kang and the lending specialists will be on tomorrow. So come along with your finance questions, and I'm sure the team will answer them. So there you go. All right, folks, take care. That's it from me. See you on Monday next week. That's when I'll be back. Till then, folks, be good, be well. Take care. Bye for now. See ya.
Episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the Six Star team.